The alarm wasn't supposed to sound. Not here, not in the heart of their most secure space. Sector Gamma 9 was a graveyard of forgotten treaties, a region under the iron control of the Keldrian hegemony. Their rule was absolute, their patrols merciless. No vessel entered without authorization and lived to tell of it, until today. On the bridge of the hegemony dreadnought Iron Resolve, Commander Vorik stood rigid. His chitinous plates rattled with a subsonic tremor of pure disbelief. The holographic display before him showed the impossible. A Terran battleship, designation Akron class, hung motionless between the twin gas giants of the sector's crown. It was not attacking. It was not hiding. It was simply present, a statement written in cold steel. Confirm the scan, Vorik hissed, his voice like grinding stone. The sensor officer's tentacles fluttered nervously over the console. Confirmation triple-checked, Commander. Signature is unequivocal. It's the Acheron, last recorded near the Terran core worlds. Its transit here is not possible with known drives. Yet it is here, Vorik whispered. He opened the fleet-wide channel, his mandibles tight. All patrols converge on my coordinates. Full tactical alert. The silence has been broken. Aboard the Acheron, the atmosphere was one of focused calm. Captain Arden Thorne watched the Keldrian fleet scramble on his tactical plot, a ghost of a smile on his lips. He cradled a ceramic mug, steam curling into the dim light. Look at them dance, he murmured. At the comm station, Lieutenant Maya Vance scrolled through intercepted chatter. They're rerouting every destroyer in the quadrant. Their command net is lighting up like a supernova. They think we're alone. Arden took a slow sip. Let them think it. Fear is more potent when it's born from uncertainty. He stood, his frame casting a long shadow. We didn't come to hide in the shadows. We came to cast one. You think it's time, sir? Maya asked, her voice low. They've forgotten the way of our silence, Arden said, his gaze fixed on the starfield. Peace was a gift. They mistook it for surrender. It's time for a reminder. On the Iron Resolve, panic was a contagion. 6 heavy cruisers and a carrier group now formed a jagged wall between the hegemony outpost and the lone human ship. Vorik's claws tapped a frantic rhythm on his command chair. Open a channel. Direct to the human vessel. The comm officer nodded, sweat beading on his brow. Channel open. Vorik leaned into the mic. Terran vessel Acheron. You are in violation of hegemony's sovereign space. Identify your purpose and power down immediately, or be fired upon. The silence that followed was heavier than a black hole. On the Acheron, Arden listened to the demand. He didn't respond. Instead, he gave a single, almost imperceptible nod to Maya. Outside, in the velvet dark, shapes shimmered, like heat haze resolving into form. 7 other vessels decloaked around the Acheron, Terran Raven-class interceptors, their profiles needle-sharp and deadly. Vorik's heart seized. They were never alone, he breathed. Then a new transmission pierced the comms. Arden's voice calm and final. You have something that belongs to us. Return it, or we will take it. The line went dead. What in the abyss does that mean? Vorik roared. What prisoners? No one had an answer. The dread deepened. Someone, somewhere in the hegemony's labyrinthine hierarchy, had stolen from humanity, and now the bill had come due. In the fortified command bunker deep within the asteroid fortress of Keldra Prime, the air was thick with panic. Grand Marshal Krell stared at the holofeed, his aged scales dull under the emergency lights. He replayed the human's message. Return it, or we will take it. Find me the spark that lit this fire. Krell snarled. Now! An aide, trembling, accessed a secure database. Marshal, cross-referencing black site logs. There is an incident. For months ago, a stealth operation intercepted a drifting civilian transport near the rift. It carried 4 human passengers. They were transferred to Facility Theta for analysis. Krell's blood ran cold. Facility Theta was a phantom, a place where the laws of war were dissected alongside living subjects. Who authorized this? The authorization codes are scrubbed. Sir, it was a black operation. Krell closed his eyes. Someone in his own government had reignited a war they could not win, and Captain Arden Thorne, a legend from the Terran Reclamation Wars, was now holding a match to their fuel reserves. Aboard the Acheron, a private, heavily encrypted channel opened. The face that appeared was stern, lined with the weight of command. Admiral Senna Rourke of Terran Strategic Command. Thorne, you were instructed to observe, not to declare war. I haven't declared anything, Arden replied, his voice flat. I've issued a receipt. They took our people from a civilian ship. They're in a hole called Theta. You don't know if they're alive. That's irrelevant. We don't leave our own in the dark. Not anymore. You know that better than anyone. A long silence stretched between them. Finally, Rourke spoke. Command will disavow you. There will be no reinforcements. I didn't ask for any. Then finish it clean, Arden, and remind them why they use to fear the dark between the stars. The channel severed. Arden turned back to his bridge. Maya, Facility Theta just went completely dark. They're trying to bury it. Their attempt is noted, Maya said, her fingers flying over her console. I'm painting it with every scanning frequency we have, making it glow on every hegemony screen they've got. Across the sector, hidden sensor nodes around the asteroid facility detonated in silent EMP bursts. The hegemony's secret was dragged, kicking and screaming, into the light. Good, Arden said, his voice dropping to a whisper. Now we go in and get them back. In the drop bay, Arden's team assembled, 8 figures in matte black infiltration armor. Lieutenant Vance checked her twin vibroblades. Sergeant Deckard cycled a bolt on his mag rifle. They were Ghost Platoon, specialists in making the impossible quiet. The facility is a maze, Arden said, his helmet display syncing with the team. Primary objective, extraction. Find our people. If the hegemony gets in the way. He left the sentence hanging, its meaning clear. The bay doors hissed open to the silent vacuum. One by one, like stones dropped into a well, they fell toward the scarred surface of the asteroid. They landed at a secondary airlock, a maintenance blind spot. Deckard placed a breaching charge. A soft thump and the door yielded. Inside, the corridors were sterile and silent, lit by the eerie glow of bioluminescent strips. The air smelled of ozone and something coppery. They moved like whispers. 2 hegemony guards rounding a corner were neutralized before they could sound an alarm. Deeper they went, past rooms that turned Arden's stomach. Observation chambers, surgical suites, data screens filled with scrolling genetic code and stress response graphs. They were not just imprisoning humans. They were unraveling them. Finally, they reached the high-security cell block. Through reinforced transparent alloy, they saw them. 3 figures. 2 adults, 1 a child. A young girl, maybe 12, curled in a corner. Her eyes were open, watching them approach. They held no fear, only a profound, unsettling awareness. Deckard blew the door controls. The adult stirred, a man and a woman, gaunt but alive. The girl did not move. We're getting you out, Arden said, helping the man to his feet. Dr. Eli Vance, the man coughed. Terran Xenobiology Division, and this is Researcher Chan. He gestured to the woman. The girl, her name is Lyra. Arden knelt before the girl. Lyra, can you walk? She looked at him, and for a second he felt utterly seen, as if she was reading the history written in his bones. You're loud, she said softly. Your thoughts are very loud. Before he could process that, the facility sirens began to wail. Stark red light flooded the hall. They know we're here. Maya's voice crackled in their helmets. Fall back to extraction point Delta. Arden ordered. Deckard, take point. Vance, get them moving. They ran, a sprint through twisting corridors now swarming with hegemony response teams. Blaster fire scorched the walls around them. Arden returned fire, covering their retreat. They reached a vertical exhaust shaft, their planned escape route. Go, go, go. One by one, they rappelled down the shaft, the child clinging to Maya. As Arden prepared to descend, a squad of elite Keldrian guards burst into the chamber above. He dropped a microgranate upwards and jumped. The explosion above sealed the shaft. They landed on a rocky ledge, an external platform. Above, the Acheron descended, its ventral bay opening like a hungry maw. A Raven interceptor swooped in, laying down covering fire that forced the pursuing hegemony troops back. They scrambled aboard as the bay doors sealed. The ship shuddered, engines ramping to full power. They were away. In the medical bay, the two researchers were being treated. The girl, Lyra, sat on a gurney, wrapped in a foil blanket. She stared at the ship's internal systems display with an intensity that was not childish. Arden approached Dr. Vance. "What is she?" "Really?" Vance exchanged a grim look with Chan. "Project Chimera. An attempt to accelerate human neural adaptability, to create diplomats, explorers, and yes, strategists who could intuitively understand any system, any species. She is the only viable result. The hegemony wasn't just holding her. They were trying to reverse engineer what makes her her." Maya called from a console, her voice tight. "Sir, I'm picking up something strange. Lyra's biometrics, they're syncing with the ship's network. Not accessing it, harmonizing with it." Arden turned to the girl. "Lyra," she looked at him. "Their ships were shouting, so I made them quiet." "What do you mean?" "The destroyers that lost power. I asked them to sleep." A silence, deeper than the void outside, filled the room. She hadn't hacked the hegemony ships. She had persuaded them. On Keldra Prime, Grand Marshal Krell received the final report. Facility Theta compromised, the humans extracted, and the Chimera asset gone. A new data packet arrived, unencrypted. It contained a single sentence attributed to the child. "You try to understand a storm by catching a single raindrop." Krell knew then. This was no longer a military engagement. Humanity hadn't just retrieved a prisoner. They had unleashed a new kind of lightning, and they had no idea where it would strike next. Aboard the Acheron, Lyra stood before the main viewport. "They will come for me," she said, not with fear, but with certainty. "Your people, and theirs." A new alert flashed. A Terran fleet signature, not the Acheron's, was approaching. Adjudicator-class vessel, designed for containment. Admiral Rourke's face appeared again, stern. "The asset must be contained. Arden, she is a strategic anomaly. Hand her over." Arden stepped between Lyra and the screen. "She's a child, not an asset. She is what we made and what they tried to break. She is now a variable we cannot control. Stand down." Lyra placed her small hand on the command console. The Acheron's lights dimmed, then flared with a new, softer luminescence. Every system on the adjudicator vessel suddenly went inert. Weapons offline. Drives dead. Communications silent. On the bridge, Lyra's voice was calm. "I am not a thing to be controlled. I am a question you ask the universe." She looked at Arden. "I am what comes next." The Acheron turned, not toward Terran space, nor deeper into hegemony territory, but into the vast, uncharted gulf between galactic arms. Arden made his choice. He nodded to Maya. "Plot a course. Let's see what the question answers." Behind them, the paralyzed Terran and hegemony fleets could only watch as a ship that had rewritten the rules of engagement vanished into the deeper dark, carrying humanity's most dangerous creation, its own evolution. If the story of a silent war and a terrifying evolution gripped you, please show your support. It fuels the channel. Tap the like button and share your thoughts below for Winds of Thought.